said, we'll start off with that discussion.
If y'all remember, about 2009, we started with the Civic Center. And then when the fancy fair started closing down and all that, we kind of put it on hold and canceled. Well, there's a need after we saw what the rodeo did down in Frisco this last year. We had 6,000 or so people come through it. So we said we needed to get the Civic Center back on the agenda for Monroeville and serve the whole county. And so we formed a committee and just in the preliminary stages. We just want about 2 million a year from y'all, and after that, we'll be all right.
Hell, you said 2 million.
2 million a year. You break it out. No. Asking for no money or anything right now. We were in the just preliminary stages, so we just want to say, hey, if y'all hear about it around town, this is what we're doing, and this is what we've got going on. And I just wanted to bring it to y'all to keep you informed. And we're trying to push it through a little bit to see if we can get some stuff ready for all this infrastructure money coming up. FEMA money is still out there to be had. So there's a lot of little grant money that we're going to be pushing for. And we'll need y'all's help to just say, hey, this is going to be a need, write letters to help us out on that kind of thing. So that's what we're doing. You want to, we'll see the committee right now.
Cut off the last members Anthony Thomas on the.
But we all know there's a need for something this size. Have rodeos in, demolition derbies in, have huge meetings for bringing people in from all over the county and places. So there's not that many places that are put 2,000 or 3,000 at one time in the area. Just a few little quick slides on what we're proposing and what we got drawn up already. Front look of the building. Overall top of the building, the inside floor, outside again on the rear where you got the big open doors to get trailers in, horse trailers in and out, 18-wheelers. Anything that you might need as far as the cars and demolition derbies and stuff. The kind of inside with the bleachers on one side, some people are saying bleachers and others on kind of permanent type seating. The original design was for the bleachers to be retractable to where you had that area you could walk with and walk out in case you didn't need the bleachers upstairs. And then the one end of it open to where you have a big gate to get tractors and trucks and anything else. Just another view overall of it from different angles. The inside floor, you see that 150 by 240. Most everybody requires 200 foot minimum to have like a rodeo or a monster truck or what you call a motorcycle, with rallies in it and all this other than that stuff. So do that one. So anyway, we'll do that. But that's what we're looking at on the inside. Ticket taking on one side, staging area for all that on the other side, and then the overall building 300 something by 200 something overall. So we're talking a good size building. Put chairs down front. We think we have a floor area on the side. Overall parking area, have some areas for the big trailers, campers coming in, parking out front. Have the RV park in case we ever need it for FEMA or some kind of disaster where we have the electricity and everything set up for the RVs and the trailers if we needed to for the FEMA or disaster type thing that we had before. Just another elevation with little trees and all that kind of stuff. Framing, we want to do it for 200-mile-an-hour wind resistance. That's one of the requirements for a shelter from FEMA. So that's what we designed the building for, to have that rating as far as wind resistance to when you say it is a FEMA shelter, not just a after storm, but during storm also. Just more of our anchors and frames and all, and engineering. Rating. Darlene, you might want to, you've been doing more on the areas that we're looking at and the lands available at. We need a minimum of 40 acres, 60 would be more to get the parking, because if you don't have parking, people are not going to come. So this is some of the areas we're looking at, and so that's what we're doing there.
These two slides, it's two buildings that are side by side. If you look at those and kind of try to imagine that those blue lines fit together, and so those are adjoining properties, but they have two separate owners. That gets you to 42 acres, adding those two together. John Barnett owns one, and Murdoch Kennedy owns the other. Excuse me. And that is, some of you don't realize where that is. It's you go right past here, Barnett Road, it's right past there. So it's between here and Milton Island.
Oh, it's on between the backside of the church, crossing Park Road. Well, I thought this was across the back.
No.
This is
There's that much land in there?
42 acres that I identified those two. Okay, next. Another slot is 122, excuse me, 112 acres, and that's on Ivy Street. If you go, just turn on Ivy Street and go back there, there's this land, there's 73 acres and 39, so that's how that adds up. And David still represents these distinctly, and so they are willing to sell it. So that property is available right off of
We're probably planning on that. Well, this year, we're not leaving the problem.
I don't know. I didn't look at zoning. I figured that we'd just get that later, but I just wanted to have lots of options. for
That's a
everybody.
residential with the solar.
Right. Okay. Next. And then this is our industrial park for 31 acres. And the city owns some other property out there that's not necessarily contiguous. I couldn't think of the word, but yes, it's not contiguous, but we could use some more land for parking if you all so desire. Okay.
There too, there are other areas you use for parking, that kind of events.
Mhm. Now this one is really hard to tell where it is, but this is two different lots, and the city owns it, 162 and 164 acres. And that is out back south of Veterans, and that's the railroad track that circles the property. And I don't know how much that land could be used. I don't know part of it. And so, but that is another location. And then the next one is at the old outlet center. There, I asked, there's about 10 more acres that we might could get to go with that, but the 20 acres probably would not be good enough for it. And I had another location, but I found out just this afternoon that the owners will not sell it. Of course, these are just what I've identified. It's not saying any of those have to be, or just any other suggestions. We want, as a committee, to get everyone together and then have some public hearings and hearings to make sure public is on board with this. But everybody we've talked to so far seems to be very much supportive of it. And it would be something well, the ones I've talked to are very interested in the civic center being more of a rodeo, but hopefully we could have more of the use of it. And one of the things that Tom couldn't call out that I was thinking about was, for concerts and things like that. As well.
The county has agreed for, when you do a grant, they do matching money. Part of that matching money is in kind of services where the road clearing and land clearing, moving dirt around. The county has agreed to help us on any of that, for anything kind of services also.
On this location, you said that there might be at least 10 additional acres that might be for sale. So that puts you,
But you're dealing residential.
It would be done and residential around it. And I know that Burton County representatives
Well, we have to have parking somewhere for that building that you saw was 300 something by 200 something, and it would take up most of this. And we have a staging area, the rain area, take up the rest, so you would have no room for parking unless you did something with the building, like the fair outlet building or something. Where they have to park. That is not enough acreage to do. It's not good.
so how big is this end towards Central Supply?
Martin has a sign, is that part of it? Martin has a sign on the road, is that part of that or not?
What I was looking at is not part of it.
And
I
that's
thought Kennedy's on some of that.
if you go on down and where the police range
Shoot
is,
range.
and go over to your north of there, where this property is all in the back in there.
Are they,
Towards the sewage treatment.
Right. Went through street in there.
do they want to sell the whole 112, or did you buy the 40 that you need, or?
I'm sure that I can do whatever. I talked to David Hill, representing him, and he
I
said,
know one of our employees has that hunt rights on that. So.
Yeah, David, he.
It actually comes back towards Heritage direction also.
Yeah. Comes on. Go where the power line goes down the middle of that place is.
Yeah.
Everything else, you see where the power line goes. But anyway, we'd have to do some filling in and then working in.
That's pretty rolling right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So, but we got. Get that. That's where that is. And that land available, and David said that the owners that he represents would be ready to sell it. And last time in 2009, 2008, they were willing to, we bought it for a decent price, like half of it, they were willing to donate the other half to tax it.
One thing, getting property, when you do anything like this, it's best with a lot overkill than underkill.
Well,
Something else they want to come in next to it to develop it also.
but anyway, we're in the preliminary stage, the committee has not even met yet, but there's talk going around a little bit of town, we're kicking this thing around again, and we just wanted the council to know what we're doing, and again, at this time, not asking for any money, just, if we need to, from the county y'all to, sign a letter of recommendation to, from this infrastructure money or the FEMA or something, we're trying to do our grant money. That's basically what we're here for.
The only problem with this is road access to a residential area. And as far as probably impact on residential, very little, because 3 sides of that is industrial or farming.
side, maybe, is there not? On the side that is, have that funds in the street?
You know, you got the road, you got access to this off of the Ivy coming in.
You would go in the Ivy before you go to Galen, you pass the shooting range, where you go to bed. And then it does not touch on Horny Drive.
And then we can work with, yes, to see if we could get maybe a road through that front here off of the bypass.
That would be a better option than
Yeah,
kind of go through the residential area. That's correct.
yeah, you do 6,000 folks through that little road is a problem, but you know, if this was to come about, we would get this and put it forward and get everything done, we would probably suggest to say, hey, can we get a easement through the lane and road through your area there.
How close does this come to Westview?
Westfield.
That's coming behind.
It's probably right around that one's up. And he said he had about 200. I would think that somewhere they probably need that.
City treatment plant's gonna be the buffer in that alley. At the end of that road that goes in there, off of Westbrook.
At least kind of.
I mean, that, the power, the backside of here, the corner of it is where that property starts on the east, yeah, south side of this would be. And then it runs all the way to Ivy's home. Monroe Station. Back in there, you ever been to shooting range? That gate runs in there where that property starts. And it goes from there to there. That's from there to here, again, it's straight down. It's like, oh, yeah.
And then how it's too, so. But anyway,
Yeah.
right now, this may not be the site, but we're just looking at different sites and, again, just wanted y'all to let you know what we're doing, what we're up to. In case it's happening in the city, you know, ask me questions.
Not John F.C.'s own property at Florida High School. There was a big piece in there that was sold there a while back in the first time, but that comes off, you know what I'm talking about, Mike?
Yeah.
Back in that corner, high school,
Yeah, I know.
there's a pretty good chunk in there.
Stewart head.
The
Stewart head.
Yeah.
Not Stewart. That's not Stewart.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying. I think John,
And Don actually,
junior or senior, one of
you know, Don had a bunch of acres, I talked to Sandy and go ahead and get them adjacent to that, outlet malls too. And they sold. But anyway, any questions or anything, like I say, it's all preliminary right now. We hadn't, committee hadn't met officially yet, at the meeting yet.
being out of late, I guess, the projected expense.
The building itself, we're getting Harrigan to, getting Hammer to give us an updated, in 2009, it was 10 million, some odd $1,000, $11 million to build the building itself. And then with the, parking and trailer hookups and everything else, we're looking at 18 million in 2009.
So it was probably 30% more.
Yeah, at least double.
They had an expression in
Yeah, I just, put it out of contingency fund.
there. Well, then we go back and look at, I think the other question is, will this qualify for the infrastructure?
But yeah. Yeah.
And
The city itself does not have a shelter. It's got a after storm shelter, the Ann Ferris
Yeah.
building.
Limited, so.
But it's only, that will only house folks after a hurricane. or-
Robert Hill did exactly what you're talking.
Yeah,
They went in and out there, and that's where they do their fair and their livestock things and concerts and all that stuff. They did the exact same thing.
so,
And they're by ideal location, they're not off the coast, because they need to have people.
we'll present it like, it's a thing, well, hey, if necessary, we'll let y'all have it for staging area to hit the coast, which we're not far enough away, but it would be a good staging area to have stuff and work out.
Any other questions?
If any of you want to serve on the committee, please let us know. These are the people that we contacted or they expressed interest. So we can have, common sense and should be in this. Attending the meetings or the common.
He's retired, you can talk.
Well, I will say, I believe it.
Right, they do. One start with $50,000 in the municipal plans and all the architectural design and so on.
And that's one thing that I thought was mentioned.
All right. Well, we thank you.
All right. We'll get out. And let y'all take care of it.
Thank you.
Let's see y'all.
That's it. You can get retired like Paul, I mean, y'all just double your
Yeah,
job.
I'm gonna get-
Why Mike falls in here, because don't tell Debbie Neiman my name.
He'll put it in paper, it's already on document.
I'll blame it on Tom.
I asked Mr. Scott, and he will be here, he had a misunderstanding, we thought that 5 o'clock council meeting, I asked him when to get the work session. We talked about, we discussed the preliminary thing, and to get additional input from the council, and, previously, we talked about paying for about half of the lifting truck from Darren had brought up about, exactly what it's called, but anyway, it was some consideration for the volunteer fire. And as I was talking with him, I came up with several other things on there, which is go through, and we're asking for council inputs, anything that we vote on today, is not ready for that. But, when I was in Montgomery, there was some additional information that came out about the plan of funds and what you could do with them. They have not gone through and provided final rules yet. So that's why I wanted to go through and talk about preliminary. We don't have to be in a rush to spend the whole thing. We actually, if we got plan in place by 2024, we got to 2026 to spend it. So, when he gets here, we'll move into that, and if it's okay with the council, I'd like to go ahead and discuss the other items on here, which I think will be fairly brief. The first one was talking about discuss a frontier internet phones contract. And what this is that we don't have a way of being redundant for phone service. If there's something that happens at the police department and the phones go down, they don't have a way to communicate. Same way that's here at City Hall. And we have actually looked at the possibility of installing copper lines. All the technology has changed. And what this is that they actually have an internet phone in which they can go out and you can plug into any connection and continue to operate. And when I got here, the first thing I started to notice was a lot of things coming up that the city does not have a COOP plan, what they call a continuity of operations. And this would be part of that. I've been discussing with police chief and the fire chief about developing one. But we have had in the past when we had like hurricanes and things hit and lost power here at City Hall and other places, y'all had no way to communicate with them. And so what we were looking at was 4 of these phones. I think the cost of it was going to be like what additional, right, $1,300 a year. And it's 4 phones, 2 lines for the police station, 1 for the fire station, 1 here for City Hall. And I think that this is something that we can pay for out of the rescue plan monies, because we don't have a budget for this year. So we can actually pay for it out of ARP funds for this year. And then that would be something that we'd be able to absorb into our budget for next year.
I do have a contract in the package for that station.
Yes, we do have contractors. Should be in the package.
So all these, we should have copper in the buildings, right? When phones used to be here.
We have gone through and we talked about doing what they call a hot line. But from everything that I'm understanding and the recommendation from Frontier, say if we actually went through and lost the building, then, and that's why I was saying it's important to have a proof plan. Because you need to have a plan in place. If you lost the building here, where would you go to continue the operation? And then that way, at least you can take this phone to that place. That would be the same as with the police department. If for instance, a tornado came through and wiped out downtown, lost the police department, City Hall, and fire station 1, where would you operate and how would you operate? They had all of it. He had satellite phones just in case something like that happened. But see, that's expensive. And that's something we don't need to get to. But as long as we can get somewhere that's got internet connection, we can plug these phones in and keep operating.
If the internet works.
Well.
It's a lot of-
100%.
That's right, nothing's 100% nowadays.
No. But you just try to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's our ambition.
We never lost home service. Or landline.
But that would be, this basically the backup. This would be the backup plan. And, like I said, we went through and Sam and Brian both discussed it with Frontier about the best direction in which to go. And they both came back and agreed that this would be, give us more options in order to continue on. The next item that I was going through and looking at is I understand that Daniel Andrews wants to come back to his city to become a full-time employee with Monroeville Police Department. And oh, that's him. The Mike is not here. I can tell y'all, he said the city treats their employees better than the other folks. So that's
Where you come from?
from the sheriff's office.
Careful, he left up right there.
So.
Actually want to come back home.
He wants to come back.
Green sometime, one time. wasn't he?
Yeah, he left us and went to Evergreen for better pay.
Yeah. So we're competitive now, so we want to come back. So, we'll need a motion to approve that. The next item on there is about the city clerk becoming the deputy senator. Now, how this came about is that, they were going through and they're doing a redistrict. And based on the plan, Senator Poirier will probably plan submitted, she will pick up all of Monroe County. We had a chance to meet with her, kind of as an introductory. And she was telling me that she had tried to reach out to Monroe before, but she didn't get any response back. So this time she came down, she's actually been here 3 times in the last 3 weeks. So we are establishing a good rapport, which I think we're going to need when you start talking about some of the other things that's coming down. For instance, like the state's going to be having $2 billion that the legislature is going to be heavily involved in determining how that money is going to be dispersed. So that's, in talking with her, she's going to work with us, make sure that we can go through and try and get at least, well, our little share of it is, but to do that, and I also been going to represent Jackson for that. But they have a position that they call a deputy senator. And she had discussed with Ms. Hunt while she was down here, about that position. And what it is more or less of a, avenue for them to feed information down about what's going on in the legislature. And Monroe County has never had a deputy senator, from what I can understand in talking to her, so this will be the first. And you don't have to have just one, you can have more than that. But at least, you know, that is a way to keep in contact with her office to know what's going on, at least in the Senate side. And I don't know if the House has anything like that. I'm going to check into it. We need representation up there. We need a constant flow of information back and forth. So if the council approves it, we will submit Ms. Hunt as being a deputy senator representing at least the city. I don't know if the county wants to do anything like that or not, but at least we're having it.
What kind of time requirements?
She did.
So it's usually after I get off. It's not there. It's usually after I get off. It's not during the time that I'm here. I have attended 2 Zoom meetings now. It's been like after I was off. So the meetings usually start at 6 o'clock.
I know having been here less than 6 months, your plate is full, you know, and I would hope it wouldn't require any time away from your office.
Yes.
But the other ladies in there, other employees, I know their plates is pretty full too.
Financially advantage to you or disadvantage to us, or how's that in?
There's no money involved there. It's kind of like volunteer position.
I didn't know if there was right there for pay on her end, that we'd help in, or they would compensate or whatever.
Well, sir, according to, what she actually went through and checked with the, ethics commission, to make sure that there was no conflict from that side.
Is this for any definite length of time?
I guess until,
So she
as
don't
long
want
as
me
she's
no more.
senate.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes.
As long as it doesn't involve see the time, see the money. You know, I'm okay.
And like I said, even as far fetched as it be, the only time it might be get busy if there's something in the legislature. But at least if we put something before the legislature, then we'll have somebody that can monitor what's going on with it. And believe me, that's very important because it involves politics. Okay. Then let's see. Yeah. Ask about this.
Yes, ma'am. I have one too.
I think the first one would be the man.
I was thinking it was Larry.
Okay.
Yes, when I was. Okay.
Hello. Well, the sugar gets to now, let's go ahead and talk about the annual Christmas parade.
Oh, that is, the chamber manages that. The chamber manages that.
Oh.
Chamber of Commerce, right.
Okay. So she's not. Okay. All right. Well, on here, yeah, I don't know. I think. Did they come to this?
But you have to, probably not be, yeah.
Well, anyway. My wife and my sister-in-law wants to design a cake. And, they order up all the stuff to go on it, and, you know, I know in the past, but I guess they want me to, fill out the application, they be on a float, and for any city council, and they participate and be on the float, you know, all well. So 18-foot trailer, you gotta look at. But, I asked Ms. Hunt today to go ahead and fill out the application, to send it in. We're gonna have Santa Claus and snowmen and trains and all that.
That would be great.
There's somebody, she told me to get out of her way that she could do it.
That's what happens when you retire.
But it is scheduled for December 4th at 10 a.m. And, you know, like I say, I'm gonna do it up. There'll be representative of the city council and mayor, and anyone who wants to participate, I'm more than welcome.
I will not be participating, I'll be barbecue. Y'all, they done messed it up. First Saturday is when I'm open. Can't be both.
Want to see if we can get through it this week in 15 minutes?
I'm still waiting on the last payment back.
And okay, we had a request about a refund deposit for the community house. And we put that in our packet. I don't think, Amanda, back when she did this, it didn't fall within the criteria. You said, didn't it?
No, she came in and she wanted it, and then actually she reduced her days. She came back and reduced her days. And then Alicia called her because it's coming up and was like, hey, and she's like, oh, I don't need it no more, so I want my refund back. And we were like, that's not how it works, because we've already told you this, that's not how it goes. So we told her that she could write a letter to the mayor and council and they could give a yay or nay.
In the letter, and then
Yeah.
he also moved the date too.
That's right.
So was her initial request before we set our no refund policy?
Do you have a copy of the community house stuff?
The refund was only based on COVID issues when it
Yeah.
even was before. But now,
Yeah,
when
I think she just came in like a couple.
we
months
said
ago.
that, when we did that, we said after this date. At
Yeah.
that point now, so.
Yeah, it would have been after that, because it was just here recently when she came in.
But this, on this letter, says she reserved the location May 21st, 2022. For a wedding ceremony and reception, then later moved the date to December 17th, 2021. So should that have been May of 2021?
So according to what I talked to Alicia about, she put it out that far because of COVID issues that was going on. Then she moved it up because she said she didn't know if, like, we was gonna still have the COVID restrictions or not. But then she said so many people started dying in their family,
Right.
so she just wanted to cancel it.
If I'm not mistaken, it's for her son that was getting married.
Yeah.
And we've opened that date up, so if it did get rented, we could pay her back.
The
That
December
way.
date?
Yeah, we've opened it back up, but I don't think it's been rented yet. But if it ever was, then we could pay her back that way.
So it looks like in August of 2021, They moved it to December.
Is that what it said?
We got married October 15th, 2020, so then it went, yeah.
Sounds like a reasonable solution, but if we rent it, we should consider giving the money back.
So I think even if she was reserved in August, that's outside the date range for what we're talking about. So,
And that's what we decided for, we just, we gotta quit the reasons for multiple, it just it may be a good reason, may not be, I mean. And especially the December thing ahead of time, because in fact, I know of one of them, they had issues finding a date in December that was available.
And which I know Alicia, we're booking a lot in December for the terrace room. And then we've had a couple events come open in December.
I know I've got two in December there.
So, I guess, kind of like what Al said, we kind of contingent upon whether or not we can book that date.
Yeah, that's what we just kind of pretty well decided, I mean, that's what it could be.
If we can't book that date, you know.
Yeah.
We'll have to go through and, understand she lost her refund. She can go out and get somebody to book it, if she can find it.
That's the reason of the deposit, guarantee it to them and also guarantee we got somebody, get some revenue from it, making it available.
Right. The other thing is, and we'll come up and have to determine to accept it or not. We got an asphalt contract, we don't have to vote on that tonight. Mike, you want to explain the details on it?
We only had one bid on it. Jose Weaver, they refused to bid on it for unknown reason, but, I think the reason that they did bid on it, because Mobile Asphalt plant's right there on 84, and their closest plant will be Grove Hill, and it's gonna cost them more to truck it over here, so their price is gonna be higher.
Probably because Weaver, the state pays Weaver about $3 million a month.
Oh, they make a good bit of money.
Oh, he's eating up with, with this.
I called him and he was right out there.
But now that's, they only went up $3 a ton, Mobile Asphalt did, and I talked with some of the contractors. They've gone up, over $5 a ton on them, plus, they have to pay tax and all. But ours only went up like $3 a ton. Of course, the contractor was paying 70, I think right at $70 a ton for theirs. And that don't include hauling. See, our bid includes the hauling of it too. And this bid is only for a year, but now after a year, we can renew it if we want to up to 3 years.
When we took those streets paid before the first year.
Well, hopefully, we're trying to get, the two with the rebuild Alabama money, but the big project, ain't no way to get everything ready and get it.
No,
out.
that's what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, the rebuild. Yeah, Bill's trying to get it scheduled now.
I got a question, I don't have the answer to it yet, and I don't know what the guidelines should be, but this infrastructure bill hasn't come down. I wonder if it might be eligible for funding with that big project.
Or either do an addition.
Well, I was
do both.
thinking about that. I think the paving is gonna be a part of that. We will be able to try for some money through that. But it's liable to be in the next year before we get any of that money, or over into the next fiscal year. And, what we could do is go ahead and do this paving project, and then go ahead and have another one ready. Go ahead and figure up another one and have it ready, you already have the plans on it. So if we were to get, they release the money this year, we could go ahead and apply for
Well, like I said, they just said, we don't have any guidelines on it yet, so. But that was just something that, crossed my mind, it was something that they did fairly quickly. Well, either way, we could go back and we did do the big project out of this, and it fell on the infrastructure bill, and that frees up that money for us to do more paving. Or if we do more paving and still do this, I think just a lot of it depends on what the guidelines and timelines for the money.
I mean, we know we got 1.1 or 1.06 or whatever. But what concerns me is out of this other bill that was passed Friday, signed yesterday, I think. How much of that are we going to really be able to get? Because the pile is coming to the state, right?
Well, there's, and that's the question that goes back and which nobody really has the guidelines on it yet. But when my conversation with legal with Ken Boston, he told us then that, don't get in a hurry to go out and spend all the rescue plan money, but you'll have so much more coming back. And one of the recommendations that he went back and made is that you get your engineering and everything done for those projects. So when it hits, you're ready to go, you're on the front, so you're not getting caught up, because it's like I was telling Larry a little bit earlier, you're gonna have like Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, and all these folks jumping at it. We're not on the front, all we're gonna get is, if anything, we get crumbs.
Yeah, I'm afraid they don't want to build that bridge across Mobile Bay with a lot of it,
So that's why you gotta be on the front end of it versus, and see, the other issue you're gonna run into is, if it passes, then everybody's gonna be going out there trying to get these contracts. You're gonna have a hard time trying to get them to be proposed. So, you gotta take all that into consideration when you're looking at it, because it's going to hit. There's no question. It's just how do we try and get our when I say fair share compared to the huge large cities, it won't be as much, but at least we can get something. So we gotta be ready to move on it.
Maybe our best bet too, get a four lane here, corporation of the state.
Well, you know where one's going now, don't you?
Yeah.
From Thomasville to Tuscaloosa, right? We were sitting on the sideline. If they just four lane from here to Grove Hill, or here to Evergreen or to Atmore, I mean, they should, from here to Atmore, much of our money goes to the casino. They all want to get it there fast.
Making a toll, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess this is where the real side comes in, because it gets down to the point where you have to make them do it. And I went to London when they had that groundbreaking, and I was listening to them talking, and Sheldon Day and Mayor of Tuscaloosa and those other mayors, they all got together. And I'm thinking what's going to happen is we're going to have to get the mayors possibly as far as Andalusia all the way across together. And we're all going to have to go to Montgomery one day to make them at least put us on the radar. Because this is not even on the radar.
That's a big deal. They're huge. I mean, now they're gonna be connected I-20 at Tuscaloosa all the way down to I-10 in Mobile. The whole western part of the state is gonna be connected,
I heard somebody was telling me the other day that it is already on the drawing boards for them bringing another interstate from somewhere on the east side and it's supposed to come in, but it's gonna go north of Montgomery,
Yeah,
you know. Headed west, I don't
Right.
know if they're trying to incorporate, US 80 into that or just what. They were saying that land's already on board.
what's that goes, is that 82 that goes from, Prattville to Tuscaloosa?
It
Right.
is.
So if you went that way, I mean, they could connect from whatever over on the east to what was it, I-20? Oh, yeah, over there, so.
But that's what it's gonna take. We, from my perspective, and seeing what happened over there, if you were able to go through and get, like, get the mayor of Andalusia. Andalusia is in good shape, though, just everything west of Andalusia, not Portland.
Right,
But if you got the mayor from Andalusia, you got the mayor from Evergreen, Repton, Monroeville, might as well throw Frisco City in there. Grove Hill, another good towns west of Grove Hill. You know, if you get them all together as one and go out there and put pressure on that legislature, then you might at least get it. But it took them, what? Sheldon's done 4 terms as mayor over there, so it's taken them probably close to 20 years to get there.
and they put a timeline on it. I was reading, they saying like within 6 years. That's pretty good. But that's just like with the state, 98 out of Mobile going to Mississippi. Well, you get to Mississippi, 98, it's 4 lane. A buddy of mine, the bridge was over there. A friend of mine was in the Mississippi legislature when Alabama and Mississippi agreed to do that. Alabama was 4 lane 98, and Mississippi did their part, but Alabama was 3 lane.
Same thing in 84, Mississippi and Georgia pretty well done that for it.
Right.
Whoever yells the loudest.
Squeaking wheel.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying, if we can do that, when you got that many voices versus one voice, you can get some attention.
Same thing happened last time. When you come to it. You got his time scrapped.
Yeah, well, last time we did Zoom with.
Yeah. Time before that.
Yeah. And, I don't know how it got crossed. I have been in discussion, I've talked with him this week and last week about it. And he's got a proposed plan together with numbers and everything as to how much we'd be looking at right now. And, that's what I wanted to kind of put out for everybody. I had some ideas, but none of this is in stone. That's why I wanted to go through and present today. And, if there's other things that we need to go through and lay some ideas with, trust me, y'all won't hurt my feelings.
So how did we pay for them?
We took half of it out of the budgeted funds. And what we'll do is we'll be able to go back and take the other half out of the American Rescue Plan fund, and that will go back into the.
So we know we can do that?
Yes.
Okay. You kind of, while we're there, I thought there may be questions about that.
No, there's no question about that. There were some other things that I asked him to look at doing because it goes back and impacts economic development. You know, like, the city has what they call the, DRA has the DRIP grants. And, you know, we can use some of their funds to, put in there also. So I don't think, we got anything in right now. Majority of it's used 100%. So, you know, we can do some things like that. There's, when we went out to the Hornady and the incubator building, and we did that with Reed State. I think there's still a few things outstanding with that, and we can use something like $10,000 or so to help with that project and get it all completed. And it's several other things in there that I had discussed. He got it all down, and he talked about expenditures that we can take and move from the general fund to ARP funds, and that frees up our general fund. When I talked to him, I think it was probably about, what was it, 300? Yeah. And so, see, that still leaves us, about another 300,000 to go back in and still figure out other projects we might want to do. And so, like I say, you know, that's what Ken Boswell said. You don't have to spend it all at one time if you got infrastructure. I think like one thing that we talked about, we can fund with this money. Kind of like what we talked about, the pavilion out there at the Veterans Park. You know, what was it, 30 by 40? Is that what it was? Like?
But the building,
Right.
on 40 by 60 or 40 by 80.
Right. And we can pay with that with ARP funds. Get that done. There's other things, you know, like I said, we still got money left out. Some of the ideas I gave you, council may agree with. Y'all might want to do that. Just a start. That's where.
There was a email that was sent to our district email. Y'all might want to read it. It talks about, it was by the Attorney General, and it talks a little bit about, and Mayor and I talked about this, kind of what we talked about, you know, there's still, it's not exactly settled,
Right.
so you got what you can spend it for.
You gotta fly by, from what I understand, that you still gotta fly by, I think it's $15,000. No, you got bid and things like that. And see, what I learned at the big municipalities meeting, they had a lady that came in there on the last day. And man, she went through it. And I can sit over there and I can see some of those people from other cities. They kind of got that deer in the headlight look because I think that they had spent that money. And they may not.
That's what I've been from the beginning saying, that we better make sure we don't have to take some of this stuff back.
Exactly. And see, that's why I wouldn't in a hurry to go back and say, you know, spend all of it because we got time. And so, you know, put these things out, and I ran this stuff through him to debt to make sure that it's in compliance with the rules that are out there now. Because the final rules have not been made, but based on the rules that are out there now, what we talked about is in compliance.
You got the same question there. I said, you're hearing the same things I'm hearing.
Yeah, are they supposed to run for that night? Or just in the daytime?
Well, the same laws that apply to bicycles apply to them. And yes, they can, you know, ride them at night. I've heard both pros and cons.
But not in the street, they're right?
Well, according to
Well, they don't have a tail light on. You know, all they got is a little old bitty.
I almost hit one of that. But you know,
There's the fact, it's not when, if something's gonna happen, it's when something's gonna happen. I know yesterday somebody grabbed me and said, I like to got somebody come out of that alley Out there by Darby, coming out of that street there, Grind Road, and they sit down.
Well, my thing is this, I mean, I got a lot of business people that have complained to me about it. They don't want me in front of their business and all that. What I'm gonna do, what I wanna do today, I wanna make a motion that we refund his business license fee and we give him X amount of time to get him out of town. Cause I don't, somebody's gonna get killed. And it, I hate for the person that gets hit, but I hate it also for the person that hit.
But I thought they were supposed to ride, scooters on the sidewalk, not in the
And
street.
that thing is all over
They're
the
supposed to ride
bypass.
on the
everywhere.
right side of the road.
But see, that's what they not doing.
Is there an age limit on
18.
Supposed to be a minimum.
Supposed to be 18. Supposed.
Oh, yeah, so I got a call on two on the bypass the other evening, almost dark, going down the bypass.
it? Are they big schools?
No, little old bitty thing.
Like you see, you hold them, some of them you just like.
They're 1 foot on the thing, almost kind of push, kind of push.
You know, I
They're
guess
electric and they go pretty fast. And if they're going down the sidewalk, somebody opens the door, and they're going pretty fast, they're gonna be gone somewhere too. There's gonna be restaurants and stuff like that. Hundreds run
Is there a specific space that they can ride in a place or they can ride all over town?
and over town.
Well, they, and that's one of the things that I want to talk to the gentleman about, because you take them so far and, no, you only take it, it's like a GPS fence.
Yeah,
Geo
yeah.
fence.
They,
Yeah,
like
they
2
go
miles
so
or
far.
something like this, as far as they go, and they're outrange. I mean, they got GPS tracking on them, to basically tell where to go.
And they're supposed to be able to limit. And so that's one of the things that we want to go through and talk with them about if they can, limit where it can't go. And I've had to go both ways. I had some pros, I had cons.
Every time they do anything.
I'm scared.
well, that's gonna be my motion and y'all vote it how you want to vote.
What is our, again, I asked the question before, what is our liability? What is our liability? So see,
Everything is on, do.
I mean, we offered, we offered them, we sold them a business license.
So that's the only thing, the insurance. people get on there.
Kind of reading the paper thing, almost kind of like, it had partnered with Monroeville in this project where it was written up. Right?
Could be done some catch the grief or something, win something.
Where
Where did the buck stop?
Actually, I went through, I guess, I should have asked Chip to come today, because I asked the gentleman to be in contact with Chip to ask the question. to Chip.
Where are the charge, so these questions, I'm curious now, do you know where the charging stations are?
They pick them up every day.
They pick them up every day and they charge them, that's right there.
They charge them, and then they have a manager, a local manager,
Okay.
and he is responsible for where the scooters are placed and picking them up and taking them to be in charge.
Okay. I've seen this laying in the road.
Right, and see, he's responsible for that, and the thing that's unfortunate about it is that we got people out and there's a certain degree of personal responsibility that lies with it too, and that's the whole thing about it. We got some people, they just not being responsible. Just like I told you, responsibility, you may lose it because you abuse it.
Y'all get a chance to vote.
I've heard pros and cons. Some people like, people concerned. I had
See,
one business owner that did not want them on the sidewalk in front of his guys.
Well, if you wasn't gonna do that, how you gonna police that?
Well, they can put that on the app to not park there, now, whether they abide by it or not.
And I agree, like these things, you're not supposed to be able to push them or whatever when they disconnect, whatever, but they say you can.
And see, that's one of the questions that we went out to pose. I actually had the chief to come back and put together a list of concerns to be able to send to the manager. Because that's what I understood, that if once it's down and it's operating, you can't move it. And so I don't know if the manager's not doing something that he should be doing against it.
So if I had put that on Jack, then the family could have sued me and then did it too.
Well, they couldn't
Yeah,
sue.
it was just.
They're
you
gonna
mean it.
sue Michael Evans.
Alexander
They're
Shenard,
gonna
he
sue
sued
Michael Evans.
him. He does.
Like what now?
Alexander Shenard, you see these big old billboards? He'll sue anybody.
But just because we sold a business license doesn't mean we're necessarily liable. It'd be like saying if somebody died in my parking lot, the city would be liable. That doesn't seem to make sense.
I did send an email, so we just have to get that with the time to. I sent him an email, so we just gotta get back to him with the time and date for our fall or Zoom meeting.
We passed all that. We passed the meeting and talk, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I just had too many folks, and too many business owners, and I mean, ain't talking about, I'm talking about business owners.
I did email him too, to tell him, like, if they have park the scooters, place them in front of a business, please ask the business before you do it, to get permission.
So we offered them to, you know, jail the city on park.
Mhm.
Yeah, the picture I saw looked like whoever put the scooters out after they were charged to place them there, because it was like 6 in a row.
Yeah, not a matter of placing the scooters there, they don't, the ones I talked to don't want them right in front of their business.
Well, I understand that, but if you're trying to enforce that, they can't ride bicycles. But the same laws apply to them that apply to bicycles.
Y'all been in school, I got some, I talked to, I think, Alicia yesterday or day before, probably, I don't know, so much been going on. Clayton, Santa Clausville, when they didn't pick up the dumpster off that, off the Texas business, the whole bottom fell out, and they left the trash down there. It's been a couple months ago when that happened, and the people been complaining about the trash. And the understanding I got from Alicia, or maybe wrong, the guy from BFI said, we can get it to the road, they'll pick it up. But the problem is, it's on private.
Well, what he's wanting us to do is us go down there, our front end loader, and scoop it up, and take it to a dumpster somewhere. But if they would bring a dumpster there, we could do it, but y'all would have to approve us going on private property. And that would put us going on private property, to clean up other stuff. And it's gonna be more than just scooping it up with the loader. I went down there and looked at it. Now, we can go in there and get a good bit of it by scooping it with the loader, but there's a lot of stuff that's fresh, that's just been put down there within the last couple of weeks, that's gonna have to be hand picked up out of weak bushes and stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be a little more to it than just going down there and scooping it up.
Who's normally responsible for that, Michael,
Either the property
dumpster
owner or
goes out?
Republic. Republic's responsible for picking it up. Now, we
Picking
have
up the dumpster or the garbage? that they let?
the garbage that falls out of it. Now, we helped them over here the other day with our loader because they had to dump the whole truck when it caught on fire.
Yeah.
But now they asked us, we bring our loader around there, and we did, but they're the ones that actually raked up all the small stuff and picked up all the small stuff.
But yeah, this is a different situation. And that happened on Highway 21 South for a business, and they made the business owner pick it up. Okay. So I don't know. That's one of the things who was responsible.
We have never done anything like that, you know. But now, you know, that would be totally up to y'all, but there's gonna be a little more involved than just going in there with a loader. And picking up. You know.
I'm gonna have to put that property on first. You have to send them a letter.
I mean, I think if the property owner pushes the issue with Republic, that they'll probably go ahead and do something.
Well, you say he'll bring a dumpster, right? So you bring a dumpster, let them put it in the dumpster.
Yeah, that's all they would have to do.
Okay.
We called Republic and they said they picked that dump truck over a year ago.
No, it hasn't been
No,
a year.
no, they haven't been, like.
2 months, I think it's been about 2 months.
It's been long.
And see, that's the thing about it. That driver, whenever he picked up on that thing and seen the bottom fall out, he should have used something.
That's right. He just left everything, just left it in the midst.
Yeah.
Can you know the address of it?
It's on Monroeville Street.
I don't know.
They can't miss it.
But they're gonna go.
Where's it
Yeah,
at?
you have to get off
They
Frank.
crank down, barber shop.
Frank.
Oh,
I don't
It's
know.
not an entrance.
I'll get you one tomorrow.
that's my third.
They can't miss it.
You haven't had any accidents yet, have you? I almost witnessed one yesterday, the guy. I'm in Dorothy, but I just like.
Everybody calling me.
Just a matter of time. My concern is how big it's going to be.
It's gonna be a kid.
Right now, they're playing. Right there.
Man.
Or you check it out.
How do you like school?
I don't,
You know, you don't like.
It's still, you know,
you know, 185.
I appreciate it.
I went through and, there was some issues on that. I just went through and really got counted this and went over what we gotta do. We gotta compare this with what the city has already budgeted. So see, there's some things on here that, they went through. One of them, we talked about walking trails. And it says develop a walking trail to circle the outside softball and basketball players. That's we talking about the y'all.
Yeah, but they have that.
Right, and, you know,
I guess we can use some of those things.
yeah, and that's what I was, going back and doing. I had a couple other questions that I had to ask you, because I was here for this stuff. And if there was a couple of issues on there that, that they were asking for that concerned me. And so, we're going back and forth the budget, and I'm gonna highlight stuff on here that we already included in the budget. Some of the same things. Get that separated out.
I talked to him, he said he got the parcel number, and so he got to send it to the PO box that's on file, but he got the parcel number, and he can just send it in there with it, and she'll know where it's going.
Yeah, she said, 185.
185, what now?
That's the same thing they said about me.
That should change it now, it's 199. No, 199.
199.
Yeah, maybe you get upstate.
He said, where's Paul? I said, I don't know, he's listening somewhere. And, speak to the devil when you walk in the door.
School board schedule their regular meeting. Pay it forward.
I said, how'd that go?
The trucking folks there, they just gave me an update about how good things are going. It had 50 kids that was interested, but a lot of them were under 18. So they got it down to 19. And they're gonna take 11, 8 in class and 3 alternates. So they get a bigger spot. I'm going with school.
I don't think I'm gonna work.
That's why I had a
Young person. They were doing it. I knew that.
What's the charge, rate charge from computer company? How much is it?
I said 39 cents a minute.
It's $1 to start with and then 39 cents a minute. You have to go on the app and put in your credit card.
Now, you have the AT to rent it, but now driving it.
No, well, it just says it by clicking, because we did it today. It just states that as long as you confirm you're 18 and older, all you have to do is just click and it takes you right to the site.
Okay.
So people are just clicking
Yeah,
away.
because there was several the other night, I saw right. that did not go AT.
Yeah. And as long as they have some source to credit or debit or whatever type of card, then they're good to go.
Okay.
Somebody's mamas might be very upset in a couple of weeks when their bill comes in.
They have it where you can just, if you run out of minutes, you can just keep taking it in credit card. I'm like, oh.
The instructions that Michael Ellis sent me was that they had to be 18.
They have to be 18.
It says electric scooters can be used on roads and in bike lanes, have a maximum speed of 15 miles an hour. Scooters must be parked out of the way of the pedestrians and never blocking driveways. Riders are required to be 18 years old and above to access the scooter. They're out, but Alabama, the law is you're supposed to be 18 operating one without a driver's license.
Oh, okay.
They're also encouraged to wear a helmet on every ride and required to obey all standard rules.
We know it's on these individuals. Several of them do not look like they're 18.
No, I think the intent
Yes,
is good, but the reality of it is terrible.
How do you get away with Mobile? I know they got them in Mobile, I know they got, I think, Andalusia and they get Ruby. What they doing different, what we not doing? And so I spoke with the mayor down in Duke, and, you know, he had not had any issues with that. Mayor Andalusia said that the unions are worn off, and so it's, you know.
Yeah, I think that may be some of it.
I think that's what happened in Mobile, when they first started. It was on the news a lot, and now you don't hear anything about it.
Once they get them all torn up and dinged up, they put them to the side, yeah. And done.
Just some of that goes back to the, whoever their manager here, he's supposed to be picking these things up.
Somebody was telling me that they wanted to rent them. They didn't have any, the guy said, I don't have any available. And then he thought about it, he said, I got 3 over at Mason Loop that hadn't been brought back. And they turned off, said, if you'll go get them, I'll let you ride them all night free. And the lady went and got them, and her kids rode them all night. He wouldn't go to Dixon Loop and get them for some reason.
They were sitting right on the front. Right out of the room.
I don't know, Kim.
Yeah, I turned the Darby parking lot the other day, and there was one of the things like ran it over, it was just laying there in the parking lot.
Just dropped it where it went dead.
Yeah, there was nobody around it anywhere, it was just laying.
I think he might be telling the owner that he's doing what he's supposed to, when he's not. If he's supposed to be in control of all the schools, he's supposed to know what it is, supposed to go pick them up, supposed to go charge them, supposed to place them in the area they're supposed to be at.
So man, if you see a child that's 13 or so, what you got to do, give the child a ticket or what?
Can't ride a 13-year ticket. That's what I asked Mr. Charles yesterday. We had a call, next Tuesday, I think it was Friday. There was a call of 6 or 7 of them riding down the bypass. It was children. And when the officers get there, they take off running from the officers on the scooter. Some stop, and one gets in the gate in Rockwood, drops the scooter and runs. So my question is, if we're pursuing a 13-year-old scooter and we make them rake and they die, I mean, that's going to be bad on life.
Well, you don't have, and in the first place, you don't have time to be policing the guy's business.
We tell them that they need to get in touch with the guy that's the keeper of the scooter. We haven't tried to police them until they're
Yeah, but I
interfering
mean,
with
you
traffic.
don't need to be, you don't need to be having a deal. That's what I'm talking, that's what.
Do we need to invite the mayor to the meeting? I think that's what we need to do, just so we get on the same page and have Chipper here also. But we need to meet and talk about the next meeting.
I know what I'm gonna do.
That's fine, I mean, they got a problem with that. Just my suggestion, so we want to do that. So everybody on the same page, they don't. That's my opinion. If it ain't schools, it's always gonna be something.
Don't have to be stupid.
Understand what we got going on right now?
There's other things going on.
I guess when you see them, you just have to slow down. That's your.
But, you know, like the intent was to, when the tourism season came. And a lot of this goes back to, when you talk about personal responsibility lies on the parent. Personal responsibility lies on the manager for the company, to make sure that the rules are adhered to. And, you know, we can't take on the responsibility for them, being accountable for their children. They have to take on that responsibility. But, you know, like I said, our intent was when people came here, and there are a lot of places in Monroeville that tourists like to visit, like the children's composure place. Well, when you had an alternative means of transportation, which is students, they can park their car right here in town, and they can go to any of these. So that was the intent. You know, you go back out and they are, that's where the personal responsibility comes back. So my child, if he was under 18, would never get it. And just stop compliance.
So you think the students are told me, you think? Well,
Should have hold you, should hold you.
One thing, maybe Mike can help us get the point out that you're supposed to be 18, no? You know, they're supposed to be in compliance with the law.
maybe you, find somebody not in compliance and confiscate it, and make them pay a fine, make the manager pay a fine and get it out of lockup. Like you would a car or something.
So impound them.
Yeah, start impounding, lock them up over there and tell them it cost you $25, $35, get one out of impound.
Are you gonna charge him when he's not in possession?
And then if he don't come get them, that's what I'm saying, if he don't come get them, keep them long enough and then sell them. You get them off the street, you got them locked up.
No. Like I said, I think that is, with this, let's be honest with you. What else is there for kids to do? That's your child. It's not just kids. It's grown people too.
But if we're facilitating opportunity for somebody getting hurt.
Yeah,
And that's our responsibility also.
I understand what you're saying, and I think the reason that you're seeing so much interest in it, that they never had.
Yeah, it's to be played for.
That's why there's so much interest. And like I said, so much of it goes back to, that personal responsibility.
I can say, I mean, we can't do anything about that. You know, it all goes back to the parents.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay. I know our regular scheduled meeting is scheduled to start at 5 o'clock. I just want to put this out, some of my time at the end of the agenda. If the council doesn't have any problems, and I'd like to give Mr. Scott. Lose your bet again, 15. Yeah, I'm gonna lose my bet. Mountain up. Mountain up.
I'll be tanking gas here for a while.
Okay. Right, well, the time is 5 p.m. and I would like to okay, I would like to call the regular meeting of the Monroeville City Council to order. I would like to begin with all members are present and begin with the invocation, please.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, the many blessings and opportunities that have been ours as individuals and as a community. We just pray, Lord, that everything that's said and done here tonight will be within the realm of your will. We just pray, Lord, that discussion will be friendly and that when we leave here, we all leave in one accord. We just pray now, Lord, that you go with us, forgive us, lead us, guide us, and direct us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes of the work session that held on November 2nd, 2021, at 3:30 p.m. Regular meeting is held on November 2nd, 2021, at 5 p.m. And a special call meeting is held on November 8th at 2021 at 5 p.m. Do I have a motion for approval of minutes? Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Next item on the agenda for action is approval of the Frontier internet phones contract. And this will be used more or less as a backup system in case we lost communications with City Hall, Fire Department, and Police Department. Do I have a motion to approve the contract for internet phones with Frontier? So moved. Do I have a second? Any discussion?
Did we, a definite amount of money, you mention that, do we know exactly what the charge is, is it in there?
Yes, sir, we have contract.
If it's in there at that time, I know, I asked and we didn't, I didn't, all that, definitely.
The contract calls for, it is $110 a month. Okay. For all 4 phones, and that is correct, man. It's $110 a month for all 4 phones, it's $1,320.
Okay, and for how long was the contract?
This is 1-year contract. Any more discussion? There being none, all in favor? The next item for action is the approval of Daniel M. Andrews, no relation, moving to full-time employment with the Monroeville Police Department. Do I have a motion to approve the hiring of Daniel M. Andrews, full-time employment with Monroeville PD? I have a second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Next item on the agenda is the approval of the city clerk being appointed as a deputy senator to the Alabama legislature. Do I have a motion to approve the city clerk being appointed as deputy senator? Do I have a second? Any discussion? There being none, all in favor? The next item on the agenda is approval of the refund of the deposit for the community house. Do I have a motion for refunding the department, the deposit of the community house? Okay. I feel a motion, then we can get into a second and discussion. Okay. Yeah, it came out. This was late, I think it's after.
We'll have to have a motion in a second to go into discussion, and if y'all don't want to do it, we can go to it.
Yeah, because we don't want to make a motion for approval of.
Discussion.
Well, see, if it doesn't have a, if it doesn't come forward, a motion and a second, it's dead.
Okay, well, let me ask this. Do I have a motion to discuss the refund deposit at the community house? Okay. Do I have a second? Okay. Discussion. And we talked about.
We can discuss the fact that it doesn't fit the criteria that we set forward.
Okay. Any other comments? So. At this point. What was it? Okay.
It's a letter.
It's a letter.
They regularly book it, change the date, and then now the date that they changed to, which is in December, which is kind of a peace month anyway, they're now canceling it right now, that day.
Okay, well, discussion, the reason I was asking about it is because, if we gotta have something to go back and. Yeah.
Does not meet our refund policy,
Okay,
that's all I would say.
okay, doesn't meet our refund policy. Okay. So, that being the case,
If they rent, if it is rented that day, then we will refund the deposit.
okay. So, how we gonna get this into the minute as an approval? Discussion, can we put this in the minutes that it doesn't comply with our refund policies, therefore?
We can note that in a minute, that it's, that it doesn't meet our refund policy,
Okay.
and then that's it.
Okay, like if somebody rent it, we get your money back.
Yeah, that's always been stated.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to
That
get.
is a refund policy there.
There you go, refund policy. So basically, what we're saying is that, your request for a refund is let it die and let the minutes reflect that we're gonna comply with our. So if I get a vote on this motion, everybody says no, it's dead, right? Okay, so good. Can I get a vote? All in favor? All opposed? No. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of the asphalt bid. The only bid we received is Monroeville asphalt. And I think we discussed that, so do I have a motion to approve the bid for the asphalt? Do I have a second? Second. Okay, all in favor? No, we did discuss this in work session, but is approval of payroll policy change during the holiday. Next week, well, we had a situation that came up. If I can get a motion on it, we go into discussion. Also move. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, discussion. Okay. The reason that this came about is the last payroll that we tried to run, we had a lot of checks that were ACH deposits and things of this nature. And because of the holiday coming on Thursday, we sent it to the bank and they get posted. So then we had issues with people having to wait possibly until Monday before they could actually get paid. We worked it out with the bank to correct that issue. Now, what we're trying to do is put a amendment to our policy in place so it doesn't happen again. It's been a recommendation of the clerk and the assistant clerk that coming up on these days that we issue paper checks.
Anytime in the future.
Another option on that, I don't know if y'all discuss this, I mean, what most businesses do is get a list of banking holidays, and then they make sure their paydates are done either before or after that banking holiday, and put that out to the employees. So they remember.
Well, we tried that, but like this past Friday, it didn't post Friday morning like we were under the assumption that it was. And we had to go in there and it finally got posted at like 12 after lunch.
Is that because we put the date in the holiday though?
No, our payday's always Friday.
There's an issue with that.
There is an issue with the ACH department, but then when I talked to her, she said that they weren't gonna get the check until Monday because they was out for the holiday and the bank was closed. And then when they pulled it, we didn't have some type of one day turnaround for our check. And so she said it cost extra. And so that's why they was gonna put it in on Monday.
I got a crazy question on that. Like the people who does that direct deposit, like on the holidays like that, we just pay them the day before.
That's what I would.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's
They
cut
just
early.
go that way, just. That way you know months ahead of what you pay. I think that's a better idea.
Well, see, we always do it on Thursday because our pay period ends on Wednesday. And so the police officers that work that night shift, they come off in the morning. So when we come in on Thursday, we're doing payroll. See, our payroll ends on Wednesday. And see, that was where the problem, that's why we worked on Thursday to do the payroll. But the banks were closed. We sent the ACH out like normal, but the banks didn't take it Friday morning because they were off Thursday.
I'm gonna ask a question. We like, let's continue to, go ahead and pay them if they don't show up to work that day. Yes.
I think after understanding what you said, I think that what y'all want to do is the best, right? Like we take time in on Monday, which is through Sunday, and we don't cut the check for Thursday. Unless that's, it's a holiday, we got a gap, they don't have a gap.
Yeah,
And so it'd be simple for them on this part, to just do it this way, because then you gotta deal with, okay, he didn't work 2 hours, he left early, he did this and all that, so yeah. after explaining that, I think what she wants to do.
Just so that we know that everybody got paid.
Yeah.
When we left, everybody would have been paid, and
Even
Which
though
like
they
the-
had to come get the
yeah.
check, they would have it.
You're gonna run into the same problem on Thanksgiving or?
well, see, on Thanksgiving, we'll have to do it on Wednesday, so we'll have to do a voluntary that you're actually gonna come to work. And we'll have to do payroll on Wednesday, because we're off Thursday and Friday.
I don't think you're gonna see this happen very often.
No.
But, you know, it was one of those situations there, we were on Friday and everybody was looking to be paid and they were saying you can't get paid for Monday and I didn't want people to get, involved with overdrafts and all that. So, you know, we all had to, it was a team effort between me and the clerk calling the bank, we got it worked out. But this is the recommendation that they came up. Any more discussion? If not, call for the vote, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay. All right, at this point, we've talked about matters to be presented by the mayor and the council. I'd like to yield my time to Mr. William Scott so he could, present to us the preliminary spending plan for our American Rescue Plan.
Thank you so much, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here with City Council and with all the audience and everything, just to discuss status of where we at as relates to options as well as for expenditures, based on discussions that I had with the mayor, clerk, working with Amanda during her time, just looking at everything that we had, also with the need assessment that we also conducted. So what we actually did was to make it simple for everybody to follow. We actually redid a summary report, based on discussion, like I said, we had with the mayor. Try to make it simple, to the point, make sure there's not too much paper, I want to kill them in the trees. So there were a few things that we actually went over and discussed. As you'll see this, and these are just options that went through. We had a Zoom call with the mayor and the clerk the other day, just kind of hash out a few more details. But as you'll see at the top, it actually shows expenditures under review. One option that's available to this council relates to your premium pay for your employees that you gave $1 raise to, that are under the $13 threshold. That increase that you gave, we could be able to budget out so that the American Rescue Plan funds can pick up the cost of that raise you gave to those employees, so that it's not a hardship on the city at all. So that will be, I'm not sure how many employees that is currently. We'll be working with the clerk to get a list of it, but we can budget so that it will cover that dollar and that raise you get, but it's only for people who got an increase under $13. Anybody who, I know y'all did a change in your pay scale, so it wouldn't affect anybody that's above $13. This is just premium pay that relates to people who are under $13 who got bumped up, as long as they're still under the threshold of $13. It could have been about $1 or $2. Yes, sir.
You can't, the threshold is set at $13.
Yes, sir.
You can't go over that.
No, sir.
$13.
No, sir. The next thing is, and like we can get to the end, I'll be glad to entertain the question you have. And these are just suggestions that you can fine tune. The next thing is looking at doing a one-time $1,000 premium payment to essential workers. And that will be going to all 66 employees. That'll be for full-time and part-time, and it will stay consistent across the board of just $1,000. And then what we'll do is we'll have a resolution for you to approve, and also the verification letter that'll go along that shows how you should do the motion and what authorizes you to do it. So everything that we do is going to be checks and balances. So it works along with, once you go through your auditing process, your audit at the end of your fiscal year, it will meet all their requirements. The next thing is under number 3, vital pandemic equipment. We looked at that you could be able to spend out of the American Rescue Plan funds for PPE supplies, masks, sanitizer, other things you may need to have. You can actually get $9,500 in PPE supplies, and the threshold is $10,000. That's for federal If you do anything over $10,000, it has to be bidded out. Even though the state say it's $15,000, feds is actually lower. So that's why it's $9,500, but that gives us up to $10,000 that you can actually buy PPE supplies, and once you buy it, use it up, because it's a usable item, then you can actually order some more. And it would be something you can give out of your district to your citizens. Also, emergency response equipment, if you need to get additional equipment for your fire department, or either equipment that may be, with defibrillators, other things they may need, you can do up to $9,500. Anything over there, again, you have to bid it out. But this will be something that kind of help them get some essential items they may need. Also, I know you did some work on your air conditioning system. So we're looking at your invoice to see about getting that reimbursed, that cost that you paid out your general fund, reimburse it through the American Rescue Plan fund, put back into your general fund account. Next thing is we looked at with your chamber, looking at where you could be able to give them $10,000 instead of giving many grants to your different businesses locally, because it may be a few dollars here, a few dollars there. In working in partnership with your chamber, you can give them up to $10,000 and they can do trainings, programs, other things that can help members and non-members of the chamber. And they could be able to help with business development, bringing in resources to help with your buy local campaign, because we know your sales tax went up during the pandemic because people shop local, so they can push that campaign. And this could be an initiative they can start, and they can always continue it over the next year. Any questions so far?
On the air conditioning.
Yes, sir.
I think we did work at the police department, and also at the community house, where we had to replace the heating and air system there. So I think that will fall under the schedule.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The air purifiers, things that were put in, those iWaves.
We paid for those out of
Oh, okay.
the last COVID money we got.
Okay, okay. So it'll be any other upgrades y'all currently did, or any improvements, or if you need your air conditioning service right now to make sure all of the service, all that will fall upon the, ventilation, air conditioning, if you've already paid it. But if you want to do something in the future, we can look at it, make sure if it's over that threshold bid requirement, just have to bid it out. Or either we'll look at how to help you with it so we can comply with state and federal guidelines.
I got one thing.
Yes, sir.
You said this $13 hour, so y'all will take care of that $13 hour.
Yes, sir.
So it's not gonna cost city any money, why we pay them $13?
This is one time.
Well, this is the way, this is the way that we go through the work. Okay, for what they were making. All right, say if he was making $9 an hour, and out of our pay plan, he went to $12.45. All right, the city can be reimbursed for the difference between that $9 and that $3.45. Now, you can do that as long as we get the rescue plan money. But if you go through and you say, okay, we're gonna pay you $13 an hour. All right, at the end of the American Rescue Plan, are you gonna budget to keep paying him that $13? Because then you're gonna have to make up the difference between what he is paying and what that $13 is, or either you gonna bump him back. So, instead of going through saying, giving you something now, and saying I'm taking it away, we can keep it there as what it is, and then we can turn around, we can use that fund, because the thing you gotta go back and keep in consideration with the performance plans and everything that we put in there in place, when we look at step raises. So we'd be better off to stick with our performance evaluations and step raises versus giving you $13 an hour, then taking it back to $12 an hour or $12.45 or whatever.
So how long is this plan gonna last?
We gotta have all this money is effective up until 2020.
Yes, sir. December 31st, 2024. And what we try to do is see, based on what y'all are gonna be paying for those employees, see can we budget that out for the next 3 years to be able to pick up the cost of that additional salary that you're paying those staff.
Yeah, but I don't think it was me, probably about 4 or 5.
Yeah, see, you don't have that man that's over. The max you can do is $13 an hour.
Right, that's right.
Right. So it's not going to affect, but like you say, 4 or 5 people.
I was
Right.
in my head trying to get a little bit more money, if it was $13 for 4 or 5 people, wouldn't be that much.
Well, that's where that one-time payment come in for essential workers, for everybody. That way you can be able to get, that still has to be taxed, but you can give everybody lump sum payment.
And, you know, the 1,000, what we do out there, you know, at
Yeah.
some point in time, the council comes back, you want to do more, that's up to you.
Yeah, because if you do $1,000, that's $66,000. So it's up to you if y'all may want to consider it, maybe something you want to discuss in executive session about if there's any other different amount. And then how it would reflect and relate to your budget. So we would encourage you not to do too much because you can always revisit this at a later time. But y'all have a lot of needs that we need to make sure we address first.
Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir.
You said these expenditures are under review. Does that mean that we're reviewing them or what I'm asking is, are they approved for the ARP plan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
These
sir.
are?
Yes, sir. So until y'all approve, they're still under review. And then y'all select what you want to move, and anything need to be adjusted, changed. Then once it is, then we'll put everything in documentation for you to approve at your designated council meeting.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And then, so if you look at the bottom, we've actually reviewed first responder salaries. We received salaries that range from, the period was March 3rd to September the 15th. We received this from the clerk as it relates to the salaries for the police department and the fire department, and we're going through reviewing it to see what amount can we reimburse against these funds. And that's a category under response to healthcare, response under the American Rescue Plan guidelines. So far, we've identified $361,000 that we can be able to pull back over to your general fund. And we've actually came up with some things that you can actually be able to spend those things for that would address some of your needs you have. And if these things need to change, you can address those. But we've identified $361,000 that can help you with costs that you have or that you can actually look to spend. So a couple of things we have is number 8, looking at that, putting $20,000 towards downtown redevelopment grant. And I think that grant allows y'all to help local businesses in the community with development. Next thing is $10,000 going towards the incubator, helping you with the redevelopment improvements of your incubator system, because that's going to be a hot topic that may be able to get additional funding through the state to support that, which y'all doing an initial thing, might be able to get some other opportunities to support that. Next thing, looking at $50,000 going towards security cameras and safety and crime prevention. So that could be $50,000 that'll go towards whatever y'all looking at doing with your camera system, crime prevention in general, in conjunction, so you can be able to protect your city. $30,000 going towards the pavilion and veteran park.
We have another park here, and it's the Monroeville Park, so what are we gonna get down there?
That's where council could decide.
Yeah, but
I
you're
do
giving
know.
it to the veterans park.
Yes, ma'am, and we came back, and that was one of the things that we discussed in budget about a pavilion. You don't have a pavilion at veterans when you have like the tractor shows and everything. We do have a pavilion that falls there, but like I said, all this is just suggestions. And all of y'all will get an opportunity to add other things.
Yeah,
You know,
yes.
but, you know, we had to have a point to start from somewhere, and then this is just.
I
a
just
start.
didn't want to get that park,
Yeah, what was the name of the park?
the Monroeville Park.
Right. Next thing is number 11, $10,000 towards your faith-based organization. I think y'all have the churches work together, and it could be whether they can actually help do a peer counseling in the community, because a lot of families are dealing with hopelessness and youth and everything. So we can use the faith-based community through that organization, getting pastors out and opening their church and doing something more personal, reaching out to the local people about even if maybe praying or either just listening to them. That could be something really good to support them. Next thing is that $10,000 going towards the CDL program training. I think that's working with Ms. Thompson. And then I know y'all had a debt that was $200,000 for a roof y'all had to get replaced. So we looked at $100,000 of these funds going towards that debt that y'all have. With that, I think whatever you had to do along with the cost, the total cost, I think was $200,000. So looking at $100,000 this year going towards that debt, and then maybe next year doing another $100,000. Next, I know you're doing upgrades to your computer server room, so it'll be where we can get that covered, that cost covered. That's like 16,000. You can look at upgrades to your website, upgrades to your Facebook page. And then that's yet to be determined. Also, I know y'all talked about some kind of incentive for economic development for businesses looking at things, looking at coming. You can be able to do 15,000 for that. And I know you're looking at doing an ambulance, and you can contribute $80,000 towards that.
This thing we just did at Frontier was definitely an item to put under that.
Yes, and there's, that was, I think it's a little less than $1,400 for the year. That's not for emergency phone service if we have a disaster.
Okay. And that was what, around 1,400?
Yeah, $110 a month.
Okay. Okay. And then this is just a foundation just based on what y'all responded with the need assessment. If you see need to add some other stuff on there, we're still reviewing the salaries to see can we find additional funds. And then once we move the funds to your general fund, that means that you fall up on the state guidelines. So that means that we cleared the state federal requirements. We still have reporting to do, but that means that you just come up under the state requirement, which is $15,000 for bid projects of $50,000 public works projects. Yeah. Any questions so far?
A couple of things.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with section 9 Alabama Constitution? I'm sorry, 94.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that and the section 68 of the Constitution, there's gonna be some friction between the ARP 8 versus the state constitution. So I guess what's gonna happen, there's gonna be court cases to decide eventually what we can and can't do.
Well, Ms. Riddle, that's with the Alabama Public Examiner's Office. She did a letter to the Attorney General and got an opinion on it, where it relates on to everything dealing with premium pay. The only thing the Attorney General had a problem with was saying retroactive. You could not pay for retroactive, and I'll be more than glad to send that to the mayor so he can share with the council. He stated specifically that you could not pay a person for work they did in the past. That's why the resolution you're gonna have is gonna say that you're paying your employees because they're essential to the day-to-day operation, and this is something to help them, but you're not paying them for work in the past. Yeah.
But now on section 94,
Yes, sir.
the expenditure of funds must serve a public purpose. So the list that you have needs to be run through that. Does each one of these things, these items serve a public purpose?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's
Because I know who's gonna have to pay that.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The buck stops with the 7 of us.
Yes, sir. And that's the reason why too, like we work hand in hand with the city attorney, to make sure that we, have everything meets the requirements that's necessary. But the goal thing I was gonna say is that that's the reason why the public examiners, which is they do everything for all the counties and they're the top government agent as it relates to accountability. That's why they did that Attorney General's opinion to address that. The other thing is too, is that everything else, we go on a big heavy scrutiny to just make sure that everything meets the guidelines, but we don't mind double checking, triple checking, providing whatever justification is necessary. Even if it's something that's we got 2 areas, green, yellow, red. If some things is clearly stated, they could be able to do that don't, that's not questionable in any way. Red is some things we're gonna stay away from. And yellow is the things in the middle that it can lean to the left, it's fine, lean to lean the opposite way is not. So those are the things we want to make sure we verify. But whatever documentation you need, we want to make sure we provide that to make sure everything is dotted, T's and crossed.
The other thing that in discussing this, and Mr. Scott was present, was that even Rebecca came forward and said, take your time about how you spend these funds, because there's more money that's coming. And a prime example is the infrastructure bill that was passed.
Yes.
And you can use American Rescue Plan funds to do your engineering studies and have it ready and on the shelf. So when it comes time that you can pull it off the shelf and apply. And there's several reasons for going back and doing this. Number one, when this stuff really starts to hit, you're gonna have a hard time, if you're not on the front side, you're gonna have a difficult time getting engineering funds to respond to. The other part of it is this, is that you're gonna have the big cities, Huntsville, Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery. They're going to be going after that money, and we don't want to be in a position that all we have left is the wrong. So this puts us on the forefront of trying to get in there. So as we go through and we look at this, in conjunction with the American Rescue Plan funds, we need to be looking at infrastructure projects, or identifying infrastructure projects that we can start getting the engineering and everything together on to have this ready to go when the time comes. And I think one in particular, an example of one would be the draining and flooding problem that we were having over on, what is it? Chestnut? Walnut? Chestnut. That's an example of one, and that would be something that would fall up under the infrastructure bill. But, the final rules on all this stuff have not been completed. We don't want to get caught in a situation where if we go out and commit to something that the final rules are not going to cover, then we're going to be the ones responsible for having to pay that money back. So my position with the council, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I think slow and steady is the best approach. That's why what you see here is not spending all of that first lot just yet. Because you guys, gives you an opportunity to look at what we got, to say yay or nay, or I want to include this also. So this is the start, is what it is.
I will say this in my closing, is that they're estimating that the state of Alabama is gonna get maybe between $6 to $5 billion for infrastructure. So that means that what you are actually got the first time, you're looking at, you're getting the same amount, or you're gonna get double that amount. And then there's also gonna be opportunity, if you got any state roads coming through the city, make sure you start getting on the list with DOT. The DOT, Department of Transportation, is gonna have a flood of money. That's gonna be for roads, bridges, drainage, anything like that. So we gotta make sure we get on the list. Also, money is gonna be filtering down through a DECA, because the state of Alabama still has $2 billion. And like your mayor had a chance to meet with Amy Thompson, and the clerk had a chance to meet with Mr. Boswell in the meeting. And he just talked about other programs that in the pipeline. He couldn't really talk a lot about it, but I've already been hearing about programs that gonna be able to help cities to accomplish goals. So they got $2 billion. So your legislators, your senators, you need to be talking to them now, because that money can funnel down to the community. And the thing I will say too, just to make sure I address the question that the councilman had, with us reimbursing the salaries through the police, law enforcement, first responders, that allowed that money to clear and meet all requirements for federal. Now, some things that we have that's listed that's gonna be done under that category would be on that yellow line if you try to do it through rescue plan funds. But that's why we reimbursing it on the first responder salary. So that's gonna come back to your general fund. That's gonna come back to your general fund, free and clear, no restrictions, met all requirements. Then once it comes to your general fund, then it can be expended under state guidelines for everything that's under it. So that's the way that everything falls in line, and that's actually referred by the lead conference. The attorney that actually spoke at the conference is also our attorney. She spoke about every aspect of it. I'm not sure if y'all attended the conference, if everybody attended, but great conference. But we're gonna make sure that everything is documented, and if you need other information, we're glad to provide it. Whatever you need, I've been a councilman, I've been a mayor, so whatever you need, we're gonna give you what you need. Until you satisfied to move forward, then we don't have to move forward. We can just take baby steps.
So, that is the main item that I had to present, and what I would like to entertain is the motion to allow Mr. Scott to continue to develop our plans for the expenditure of the American Rescue Plan Fund with input from other council. Do I have such a motion? Do I have a second? All in favor?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's pretty much everything that I have. I guess we start with the council. We'll reverse it this time. Council Focal, anything? No. Okay.
Mary's gonna take that part.
I'll be back, Jack.
Councilman Hyde,
I'd like to make a motion that we return the license fee to the scooter operator. And that we give him X amount of time to pick the scooters up,
have a motion.
cancel the contract.
Do I have a second? Any discussion?
Are we under contract?
No. All we have is
License.
My preference would be to try and get them in here and see if we can improve the safety issues.
Want to get his attention, give him his money back, tell him to pick him up, and then he'll come and talk for sure. If he's in.
or we can send them a letter.
I'm approving the letter, right? Chief, do you or Michael, anybody have anything else you want to add? I'll deal with it every day.
Well, now, I think, it's a good thing as far as tourism, but now it is dangerous right now. One of my guys like hit one of them on top of my foot this morning. He had to come to a complete stop in a big truck. But, if you did talk with the man and get him to make the area where they ride them a lot smaller, because it was basically designed for tourism. So if we can keep it right around the square and in the historical district, that will minimize a lot of that out on the bypass and going all the way down South Mount Pleasant and all the way into Baldwin.
And one of my things too, I've had complaints from business owners. So, they're around the square, so.
But now they did leave some marks on the sidewalk bad right there. Or by the fountain and by Johnson Building. They just, the kids getting on and spinning and just going around and around stuff.
I think something's gotta be monitored, like where 12 and 9 and 8-year-olds can't get on. It's a safety issue. Mom,
Yeah, 'cause I'm going down 13. And I think it's supposed to be what, 18? And I'm-
Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor? All opposed?
So tell me, you gonna be, again, refunded or not?
I said,
It was.
So it'll be a mayor that will make records. So we'll pay 3 times.
We can't table. No, we can't table.
I'm gonna vote with nays at this time, and I'm going to go back and we're going to address this issue. And, I'll give you some instructions to send him, and,
Wonderful thing, going forward, and I hope it works. It's gonna be on record if something happens, not on my back.
The concept was good, but it just has not worked out. And
I told y'all to put that down in there.
I see, you're not the only one to express that thing.
there's no same thing.
And I don't see how I can get a whole lot better except for renewal and all.
Good concept for implementation,
Do what?
for implementation. Rollout.
Yeah, at the beginning, you know, for the tourists and all, but not for kids under 18 or 16 or 15 riding them all the time.
We're gonna do. Okay. Councilman Thomas? Councilman Bruce?
I do have a couple things regarding beautification. The burn coming on West Wiggins, Mr. Tim, we got any updates on that? Or
I've seen a note that says if you haven't done it in 30 days, we're taking you to court.
Okay, so he's on the clock for that. So that'll be within the next month. And the next step will be to go to court.
If he doesn't apply.
All right, and then I also would like for us to review our ordinance regarding trash and debris. There's a house in the corner of Mill South and Wiggins that a lot of stuff's in the yard, under the carport, just a poor. Very much an eyesore. Pool, have a pool in the backyard, the fence is torn down. So it's certainly a safety issue. I know Mr. Crawford at some point had brought a revision to that. I think in the future, we might look at that again and consider how to address things in the yard that should be cleaned up. And then the last thing I had, was going to ask if any progress, is anything being done with Mr. Mechanic's power pile up there at his business?
No.
Not at this point.
Second.
I think ADM did go back and do an inspection.
They've loaded a bunch up with there.
What he's supposed to be doing.
I'm not sure what ADM told them.
As I understand, they're supposed to be under a cover where water can't get on.
Well, they're not, no tower is supposed to be seen.
Have you told him?
Yes, ma'am. But that situation was sitting there a long time before I got here.
Yeah. And there's another one further south too. I think he's better in compliance than he's been doing.
Yeah, he's outside too.
That's all I have.
No, sir.
Come out to tree lighting Thursday night. Lights. The actual tree lights at 7:30. The market starts at 11.
Mike? No. All right, there's been no further business for the city council. Oh, there's not. Didn't want to lose the hill, I don't know if it's lost.
We said going back. Okay, I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting in Monroeville City.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Yeah.